the jam session is always fantastic because you see the variety of people in this and the variety of the wonderful differences of what we have. We like rituals, and this is our closing ritual. And what we do is announce all of those who have joined the TCBL community over the last year, okay? Which is mostly you guys, because just about everybody in the jam is new to this situation. But you'll see. Just a reminder of these are the different types of class or category that you have joined up to. And you have joined up to through calls, okay? You may not be aware that all of this is going on at the same time. The labs sign up on the labs platform for an open call, and so anytime they sign up, they get mentored, they get people that accompany them, and then when everything's in order and in place, then they're listed on the labs website. Associates is what we used to call associate enterprises. We've broadened a little bit the idea because it just trying to define who is only manufacturing became a little too tight. And we did the call we just did now is the last call, sort of like the yearly call, which we've done until now. And it was March and May, and we used the Tela platform that Martina introduced it. So it was also, this year was our first time where we moved on to the supply chain management platform that is going to be sort of the home in the future for the associate enterprises. The advisors are mainly us. We will be your mentors. We have redefined the role there as well. Here we're getting our final polishing up of these roles so we can move on forward to our definitive asset when the project is over. But we will also list those. And also for those of you who have signed up as new enterprises, in the coming weeks, we will analyze your questionnaires, the interest you've expressed, and assign you one advisor who is somebody who is active in one of the cases or projects that you expressed interest in. And so you'll have one person at least who you can contact and who will sort of help you come into the network and sort of consolidate all of the links that you've made here. The service providers are people like many of the people yesterday are service providers. You've seen some also today, and we are aggregating them on the open platform. The startups had the last call this year, and we saw many of the startups present, and we'll see what happens to that. And then we are also by now considering the creative hubs from our sister project, and the Interreg Made program is pretty much part of the network, and we'll see how that evolves as well. Going backwards. So, how many are we? The business labs, we had 12 sign up over the course of the last year, so there are now 35 business labs across Europe. The associate enterprises, 70 signed up through the questionnaire process, and our redefinition of the role of associates, we readmitted 20, or upgraded, we could say, 21 applicants from previous calls that we tried to assign to others. So the total of associates is now 227. The advisors, we just defined them at 30, and so 30 it is with using the new system. Service providers, 5 have come in. This is all as compared to last year in Athens. So we're now up to a total of 15 on the open platform. Another 8 startups. We had 7 last year, so that brings us to 15. And the creative hubs, from the original network of 5, we've opened to 3 more, so that's a total of 8. And you've seen this before. This was the network a year ago, and this is what it looks like now with the new people that I'm about to read out to you. Be warned. The calls next year, we are moving to the question where at the conference we will announce all of the newcomers over the last year, but the calls will not be a yearly rush. It will be an open and ongoing process, particularly the biggest one, which is the call for associate enterprises, are now being called associates, and we are finalizing the link between TCBL and the Tela platform and the whole system, so it will be very easy to go in there. You will sign up, and then you will get assigned an associate advisor as you come in. For the advisors, we're close to a definitive version of the point system. We'll define in our sustainability plan how advisors will link to enterprises in the future. Service providers are continuing to come in, and we are continuing to embrace them. As far as the startups is concerned, we had in the European project contract only 2 calls last year and this year. But it's clear that the startups program is working. People like it, and a lot of partners want to continue to cultivate startups. So we're working on how that will happen, and we will probably be announcing something about that before the end of the year or at the beginning of 2019. And for the creative hubs, that depends on what the creative-ware project wants to do. But a lot of people outside of the Med area have expressed interest in joining up in that function, and we'll see what happens there. So we're consolidating the calls and the process for new people coming in for the main roles that we have, and for many of the other roles, we're working on the final definition of how things are going to work, taking us into the future. So here we go. The new business labs are ITEX, who you heard, Centexbel, who you heard. If you want, you can stand up when I give your name if you're fast enough. Gulo Filati, who I think had to go back to Palermo. The Industrial Biotechnology and Biocatalysis Group in Athens. Lab Zen 2 in Palermo. They're not here. Little Pink Maker in Copenhagen. Sartoria Sociale in Palermo, SOFA, the Social Fashion Factory, which many people met in Athens last year, Textile Prototyping Lab in Berlin, the Vienna Textile Lab in Vienna, and Village Makers in Paris. The associates are Tutti Soluciones de Prasau, you're going to have to pardon my pronunciation sometimes, 4M Fashion, Anik Kogal Design, An Mamag, Argo Art Consulting, Baby Look SA, Body to Garment Solutions, Braco Sports, Brandy and Bandy, who we heard from, the Center for Citizenship, Enterprise and Governance, Confecti Integrate Moldova, Cortex Do, Cotton Diaries, who we heard from, Dabaduba Da, known as Things I Miss, Daria Malesic, Demiuma Cornimpex, Destillator, EFL, S, who presented here as well, Exclusive Comp, Xtex Conf, SRL, Gypsy and Clown, Good on You, Gore Fu, Gukam Group, Her Dress Atelier, Hyperborea, Indiese Intent, Inseta, who you heard from, Lanificio Leo, Lanificio Mario Bellucci, who you heard from, Le Petit Bossu, Mine Productions, Maison Chouchou, Marate, Marini Industry, who you heard from, Mattea Perosa, MD Fashion Lab, Maya Kurk, Modni Studio, NCN Collection, Nika Siv, Nisa Manufacture, Nisintex Fashion. I hope you're noticing how many there are from Romania. Norp Group, Pink Ponilo, Plecteria Thessalias, guess where they're from, Pletiza, Printer Zone, who you heard from, Remoki you heard from, Resort Prod, Ricardo Rami Studio, Savola Portoghese, SC Moda Miss, SC Steffitex, Smiro Dava, Sofia Mann, who you heard from, Staff Color Energy, who you heard about, Stofe Buhuzi, Techno Campus Foundation, Tekin, Tentore, who you almost heard from, Tex Moda Tessuti, who you heard from, Thessalian Clothing Manufacturers and Subcontracts Network, who you heard from, Tintex Textiles, Titera Du, Vertical Fashion Web Service, Zavad Korak, who you heard from, and Zeus Plus Dayon. The associates who were upgraded from previous calls were for Sustainability, who you sort of heard from, Alreves, Società Cooperativa, Athens Traders Association, Centro Consorzi, Fibernamics, Greening, La Fabrique, Lucidion, Multidata, Next Technology, Technotessile. By the way, they're organizing TCBL Meet tomorrow in here, I think, or at least in the Textile Lab. So those of you who've signed up, come to the Textile Museum, and they'll figure out where you go. Opera Fabri, Pattern Made for You, Programa Ambiente CEPI, who you heard from, Seta Etica, Society of Dyers and Colorists, Sourcebook, who you heard from as a service, Stefano Panconese, who you heard from, Technical University Crete, Siakiris, who you heard from in University of Piraeus. The advisors are, and these are individuals, and not all of them are with the project. Besnik Mehmeti, Bill Macbeth, Cecilia Respanti, Corrado De Castro, Daniel Cloutier, Darko Ferce, Dieter Stelmach, Filippo Guarini, Fiori Zaffiropoulo, Francesco Rulli, Francesco Bolli, Francesco Molinari, Federic Thoreau, Fridolin Wild, Gabriella and Kati Fashion together, George Siakiris, Ista Bozard, myself, Kirsten Jung, Lorena Vidas, Luca Leonardi, Maria Delle Cipolla, Michele Ozella, Paolo Guarnieri, Richard Axe, Ruth Farrell, Silvio Pavlido, Takis Liberius, Thanos Kondragiris, sorry, I forgot your last name, and Wouter de Roy van Zoidevin, and I got his last name. And you have, I think, met most of us here, and you will meet us in the future, obviously. The new service providers coming in are Circular Fashion, who you heard from yesterday, Lita Co, who you heard from today, Provenance, who you heard about yesterday, Remo Key, who you heard from today, and Reverse Resources, who you heard from yesterday. The startups, these are the 8 startups who are joining us now. Isabel Almeida, who you heard from today. Nicolo Cipriani was here today. Catherine Hall was also here today. Miriam Loda was also here today. Simona Rosa was also here today. The startups did well here, this place. Elena Scarlatti was not here today. Ornella Terrazzi neither, and Elizabeth Jaillot. The creative hubs, I'm mentioning all of them because they were not introduced last year. So this is the 5 previous ones, and the 3 new ones include ITEX, who also has that function. The Textile Museum in Prato is a creative hub. Arca in Palermo, Etri in Ljubljana, Cresidev in Athens, Fitex in Igualada, Inmatex in Bari. Some of these people were exhibiting at the event last night, including the very nice thing of Inmatex, and CEPI in Thessaloniki. You heard from them in this function. Welcome. Thanks to the team at the City of Prato. This has been a fantastic organization, and the whole city has been in this. Can all the Romanians stand up, please? Because these people are going to be our hosts in 12 months. We are going to all go to Iași in Romania and have a fantastic time, I am sure. And it will be the last, the TCBL project, the European funding, ends a month after that. So it'll be our final bash with lots of money. And we're going to need it to get there, by the way, so it'll be a good thing. We'll go through all of our travel budgets that are remaining open. But we have already arranged that the year afterwards, our first conference without EC funding is going to be in Barcelona, Spain, and it'll be hosted by the Fab Textile, who is one of our labs and one of our new partners who's joined us now. So we will be continuing after Romania and after this project is over. And thank everybody for everything that you are.